Well, here we go again, folks. Another fantastic weekend of racing again as we edge closer to Christmas. Very early Merry Christmas, boys.
Merry Christmas, lads.
Merry Christmas.
Doing that already, are we?
Yeah, we might as well, eh?
Benchmark.
Yeah, so obviously cracking weekend then, boys. Cheltenham, Donny, Fairyhouse, Hereford as well. So yeah, some awesome racing again this weekend to look at, boys.
Yeah, some big racing again, isn't there? Some very good, good horses out as well, isn't there? This weekend again. The likes of Chantry House. We'll see what that horse is made of this time in a bigger field, and yeah, obviously massive racing over at Doncaster as well. So yeah, all round again.
Cool. All right. Well, once again, folks, we'll have a couple of selections each. I think we've concentrated on Saturday, all of us, haven't we, boys? I know I have.
Yeah, I'm Saturday. Yeah,
definitely Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, as I say again, just loads to talk about, but we once again, as you know, we can't cover everything, so we've just picked out a few that we like, which is mainly, well, is Saturday now. So, all right. Well, let's get cracking then, boys. We've sit here and spoke about football for about 2 hours now. So
yeah, battery's a bit low now.
Yeah. Poor old Mark can't say anything else. So, all right, Mark. Well, I tell you what, let's kick off for you today then, Mark. Who'd you like of the weekend then, mate?
Okay, I'm going to start things off with the opening race of the Cheltenham cards, the JCB Triumph Trial Juvenile Hurdle, Class 2, over 2 miles, and as Jamie always says, the important 179 yards. I've gone for Gordon Elliott's Duffel Coat.
Oh, okay. I looked at that.
So the jockey has not been confirmed yet for this race. It's had 4 runs so far this year. It made its debut at Punchestown, the 16-1 winner of Keith Donoghue on board. Then went on to win 6-1 on favourite with Jack Kennedy on board. That was at Gowran Park, excuse me, with my on there. Then went on as 11-4 favourite again, so went at Wetherby, Jonathan Burke on board. And then most recently at Cheltenham, winning at 2-1, with Robbie Power on board. Good, it's up and coming 3-year-olds. And, it's as we always say about Cheltenham, you've just got the course and distance winner. And I think that's always good to have Robbie Power hitting some form at the right time, as well as Gordon Elliott. It watched its last race at Cheltenham, likes to make a late challenge, and I think it's going to be the same. Over its last 4 runs, and it's due to go off at 11 stone 5 in this race. In its last 4 runs, it's been 11 stone 2, 11 stone 7, low as 10 stone 12, and then most recently at 11 stone 3. So I think this is a worthy contender that I would like to see go on to the Cheltenham Festival. I don't know what race Gordon Elliott would potentially look at. I don't know if any of you boys would have any ideas on what race Gordon Elliott may look for this horse. And also who he's going to book on board as well. He's had 4 different riders, both have ran superb in all 4. So I'd like to see potentially Robbie Power again have a run. He's had the win with Duffel Coat over at Cheltenham.
He knows what the horse is about.
Yeah.
And also the win at Cheltenham as well, Sean. You know what it's all about. All these boys do. So that's my first Duffel Coat. As in for the odds on that one, it's not really been released yet. So I don't know.
Yeah, we're still a bit early, mate.
So okay, now I'm going on to the 3 o'clock. I'm going on to the main race, the Unibet Champion Hurdle. International Hurdle. Grade over 2 miles, and as Jamie says, the important 179 yards.
Oh yeah.
I've got every single runner here. We've got Goshen, Chittabello, Show Royale, Song for Someone, Silver Streak, Ballyandry, Call Me Lord, Somerville Boy, Badana Blue, and Stormy Island.
Well, you can still only have one.
You can't have all of them.
It's such a competitive field, but I'm sticking with my guns and I'm going with Show Royale for Alan King and Daryl Jacob. It was the second best in the race at Newcastle to Epperson. Epperson is just on another level, as we clearly knew. Daryl Jacob, looking around 2 furlongs out, had a great chance. Then all of a sudden, bang, breezes past, and wins. Alan King has already stated that it's going to be a late call on whether Show Royale is to get entered in this race. I hope he does, because even that's a very competitive race. you know, if you look at over some of the horses that have been entered in this race, Song for Someone, which I believe Jamie selected quite recently. You know, Call Me Lord, it's an old favourite, you know, for Dana Blue, Somerville Boy. Goshen, I'll be very interested to see how he gets on. Unseating his rider in his last day, I believe.
Yeah, not really turned up at the minute.
No, not at the moment. Yeah.
You know, when you look at some of the form of some of the horses that are in this race, you know, Stormy Island, who's the biggest price at 16-1, his last 2 races, he's finished second both times. The same for Dana Blue, the same for Ballyandy. An interesting one for me is Chittabello, current price at 4-1. But I'm sticking with my guns and I'm going with Sceau Royale. I think it had a good run over the hurdles at Newcastle. The second best in that one, as I've said, I think stands every chance. 12.05, I've gone for Duffel Coat, and in the 3 o'clock, I've gone for Sceau Royale.
Okay, mate, fair enough. Right, well, that kind of leads me nicely on to my choice then. So, the International Hurdle, the 3 o'clock, the 2 mile and the all-important 179 yards. I'm going to go up against you, so we've got one battle there.
Go on, then,
I'm going to go with Silver Streak. Evan Williams, as we know. It's a right trip for Silver Streak. Finished twice runner-up at Cheltenham.
Yep.
We know it can get up the hill. Didn't it? Well, I think it was in the Champion Hurdle of the year, the last time we went, or the time before that. I'm sure I've seen it go up that hill quite rapidly, so I was quite happy with that.
Yeah.
It has run into Epitome 3 times in a row. Out of 4, so you know, I'm just sort of hoping that you know, a change of luck, especially after what happened in the Fighting Fifth, getting sort of run out like that, had literally nowhere to go. There was no choice in the matter whatsoever. But I think it's a decent enough horse, and I just think, you know, it might stand a chance now without no Epitome in his way.
Yeah.
So that's my choice. That's my first choice in the 3 o'clock. And then my second choice is in the 3:35, the Mayor's Handicap Hurdle, 2 mile 4, and the important 56 yards this time. One day we'll stop going on about that, Jamie. Well, I'm going to champion one that I've championed before, and that was in 2019, and that's Queen of Hearts by Stuart Edmonds. I picked her in the 2019 ones to watch after impressing in 2018. She's only ran a total of 7 times, but she's won 4 and placed second once. She only had 2 efforts in 2019. She won at Sandown, beating Danceidle by quite a decent distance, I think, if I remember rightly. And then she went to run in the Dawn Mares at the 2019 festival and was really sort of about 10th. She was quite disappointing. I think they had quite high hopes for her that day. So obviously the Cheltenham form don't really help her, but you know, she did sort of spring on the scene a bit 2017, 2018, and looked to be a decent sort. Sort of, I won't say lost her way, because we all know that Cheltenham can find horses out, don't we? But
there's just question marks.
Yeah,
there's just question marks.
There is a question mark there, but
especially with the undulations and everything.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah. But just prior to that effort at Cheltenham, you know what I mean? She's had a spin round there now. You know, and you might find something a little bit different from her this time, you know. It looks quite sort of big field at the moment. Obviously the numbers might tumble down a little bit. It looks quite open. So I just thought, you know, given how she did in sort of 2018, beginning of 2019, I just think, you know, sort of keep the faith, as you say, Mark, you know.
Yeah.
She's up against Mia Grace, which is another one that I like this year, but she seems to have lost her way a little bit. But yeah, Queen of Hearts at 10-1 each way, I thought was worth a little dabble. So I'll be going with that for my second choice.
That's a good shout on that one.
Yeah. Okay, mate. All right. Well, let's move across to you then. Sean, who do you like on Saturday then, mate?
Right, I am going to avoid you both on both of mine. I'm going to 12:40 at Cheltenham. Yeah, I don't want no head-to-head this week, Mark. I'm going to mix it up a little bit, you know. Right, the 12:40 at Cheltenham, the 2 mile 4. What I spoke about, where I said Chantry House is running. As much as I spoke about that horse, I'm going to take it on. with Fusil Raffles, the other Henderson horse.
Yeah.
Again, in the two-tone green. Again, it is early days, so whether they decide to go that route with Chancery House in there, again, it's two separate owners, so there's no reason why they shouldn't run against each other. I just think Fusil Raffles has been at Cheltenham, has won at Cheltenham. All right, it was pulled up last time, a couple of weeks ago, I believe, at Cheltenham. I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of seemed like he made it his mission to hit every fence as opposed to jump it. And in the end was pulled up before anything else could happen to him. Put a line under that because it's not the sort of horse that horse is. Usually he's a pretty sound jumper. He's very consistent. Again, a step up to 2 mile 4. So the ground shouldn't be too much of an issue. I'd imagine it'd be somewhere along the soft line this time of year anyway. But again, it is taking on a very good Chancery House who demolished a small field, ended up a 2-runner race not so long ago. So there's just a few question marks on will that horse step up to the mark in a larger field. So again, if there's chinks in the armour, I believe the other Henderson horse, Fusil Raffles, will be the one to just nip in there. But again, that's if there's a chink in this horse's armour.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fusil Raffles in the first one for me, and in the second, I've gone 225 again at Cheltenham, and I've gone along the same sort of lines as Mark. I've picked a Gordon Elliott one because you can't. I've gone. Is it Fakira? 7-2 at the moment. Again, last 2 runs, 2 wins. This is a bigger step up. So last 2 wins have been over 2 mile, and then 2.5. They're now going to try it over 3. The wins. The gap in the wins has seemed to grow. So it's almost like it's a horse that is growing with confidence the further he gets. She gets, sorry, I remember one. So it's the type of horse where you look at, it comes second not so long ago to John Snow for Willie Mullins, who I know me and you have spoke about, Glenn, who has got potential as well this season.
Definitely,
who could be a very good horse. So again, there is a good form line there. It normally takes a lot for Gordon Elliott to send certain horses over this side of the water. It not being the festival or it not being
to be fair, he doesn't send a lot over, does he, throughout the year?
So I do like, obviously it was Mark's choice was the Elliott unbeaten horse in the first. I think Fakira again is going to be a step up. We know the ground, so soft weather shouldn't be too much of an issue again. I just think it's another one of those where he's crying out for a little bit more. So 3 mile I think will suit. Again, there's some decent horses in that race as well. I believe. I can't remember who else was in that one. 225 was Oscar Honeybee. Sorry, that was the other one that you picked not so long ago.
Fergal O'Brien's.
Yeah, who stayed on strong last time round. So again, we know that there's decent horses in there, and Ashtown lad for Skelton. So it is a tough race, but obviously when it comes to Gordon Elliott, he's no mug. So just take the time to send these horses over.
Yeah.
You've got to kind of open up your eyes and see there's a bit of potential there. So it's more of a stab in the dark whether it runs or not. But 225 Fakira for me, and the 1240 Fusil Raffles.
Yeah, I was going to give Honeybee a quick mention as as in a chance to redeem, because only touched off by head last time.
Yeah, and was staying on. It just left. It was just not enough track left.
Basically. Long story short, that's exactly what happened, wasn't it? So
and Fergal O'Brien normally gets a few winners at Cheltenham, and you have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, so it'll be a very tough race, and again, if it runs, then I'll be going with the Elliott one. But again, there's a lot in there that will have to improve and step up that trip to make it worthwhile.
Fair enough. Okay, then Jamie, who do you quite like at the weekend then?
Well, I've had a little look, and I've gone for the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup, Grade 3, 2 miles, 4 furlongs, and the very important 127 yards up the hill. Very important. He's got. I've gone for an each way selection of a good boy, Bobby, trained by Nigel Twiston Davis.
I look for that,
he's got good form beside his name, especially on soft conditions. I'm sure that Sam Twiston Davis will be riding on him. The last run was about 21 days ago, finishing second at Haydock, behind Master Tommytucker. Who's
the other mention stolen.
Yeah, but he's been entered for this race as well. So he's entered as top weight. But I think he can cope with Cheltenham because he's run there before last year, where he finished second behind a length and 3/4 behind Mr. Fisher. So he's got like form on soft conditions, because Cheltenham at the moment, they're saying it's good to soft, so he could run on good to soft and that. So each way, shout for Good Boy Buddy for the
Can I just ask you, Jamie, because I looked at Good Boy Bobby. Are you not a little bit put off by the distance that he lost to Master Tommytucker?
Not really. You just don't know what Master Tommytucker is going to come out. Is he going to come out in a good style?
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
The only thing with his jumping, you see, I mean, sometimes everybody's like, they like a trier, but he's a I don't know, a underdog sort of Mr. Tommytucker. And also, I mean, sometimes he jumps really well. Sometimes he just hits a bad, just jumps a bad fence, and he just comes down, unfortunately.
Like I say, I did look at Good Boy Bobby, and I was just slightly put off by the 15 length difference.
Yeah,
it's quite a bit to overturn, but as you say,
it is. I mean,
Mr. Tommytucker's a little bit of an enigma, isn't he? So
yeah, I mean, I've looked at the card, and they're putting him as top weight. So, and Paul Nicholls has got about 3 or 4 runners, and I think he's got Bryony Frost riding on one of them. And I'm just wondering if he's gonna run there.
Okay, fair enough. No, but I'll take your point though.
Oh yeah. And I've looked at the odds, early ones, and I've 16 to 1 is the best price for Good Boy Bobby. So for an each way selection.
Sorry, I digress there. Carry on, mate. Sorry.
That's all right. No worries. And then my next one is for the Unibet International Hurdle, Grade 2. 2 miles and 170 important yards. My other one is, I'm gonna stick with this one. Song for Someone. He's entered for this. Trained by Tom Simmons. He was very impressive at Ascot. I will put him at each way at 6 to 1. The sponsors putting him at 5 to 1. He was very impressive at Ascot at 21 days ago. Even though it was a free runner, Nico rode him really well.
Tactically, he was smart, wasn't he?
That was really, really good. I mean, I was impressed with that.
Do you reckon with, obviously, Song for Someone's going to want to take that lead, obviously, like he dictate, with a horse like Goshen, who we know likes to, well, if the Goshen turns up that we all saw last year, if that horse turns up, he likes to do exactly the same. He's a nut job, and he likes to go.
I would love to see Nico ride Song for Someone on this race. I know he's got
take him on,
and I think, me personally, I think I like to see Nico follow Goshen and just follow him and just see if he can, just hold him and then come to that turn and then push that button. Because he's got Song for Someone's got the pace, because he showed it at Ascot. Even though it's not undulating, it's a sort of a good uphill, slight uphill on the home straight. He's got a bit of, he's got a bit of pace. The good to soft will suit him. Like I said before, he's out of a side of Medician, and Medician like soft conditions. I think he hasn't run at the track, which is a sort of a negative, but I'm hoping he will cope with that. If Nico does ride him, because I know Call the Lord is in that field, and I'm hoping that James Bowen will ride him and Nico will ride Song for Someone. I think he's got an absolute chance of winning a graded race. He's got an absolute opportunity for this race at Cheltenham, but I know that the owners, they've said, and the trainer said, that they want to bypass the Champion Hurdle. But if he wins it, they might have to change. They might have to change their mind. But the only thing is, though, Cheltenham is not the end all of all races. I mean, there's other really good festivals. You've got Aintree. I mean, Aintree have got their own sort of
mini festival.
The mini festival, but a sort of their own Champion Hurdle race at Ascot. Not Ascot, at Aintree, and it's a nice sharp galloping track, and I think that will suit a Song for Someone. And if he wins at Cheltenham, I think they should bypass the Champion Hurdle and go for the Aintree. But sorry, mate.
Yeah, sorry. Well, after the win that Epperton had at Newcastle with Aidan Coleman is currently booked to ride Song for Somebody on Saturday.
Ah.
Obviously, it could all change.
Yeah.
Would you be happy with an Aidan Coleman?
Oh yeah, because
Mark wouldn't be.
I would, because
last time.
Listen, I'll be hands up. You know, like it's what you say.
I'll tell you what. I was at not last year, but the year before, and I backed Paisley Park on his first run at Cheltenham when he in the trial run, and Aidan Coleman at the time was riding for Emma Lavelle, and I'll tell you what, I was so impressed with the way Paisley Park run and the way that Aidan Coleman rode Paisley Park. It was like a 5 furlong sprint, because I've never seen how quick the turn of foot from Paisley Park. You know, from especially with a 3 mile, a 3 mile hurdle race in a trial, and that was not last year, but the year before. And I'll tell you what, and I really liked Aidan Coleman. I think he's a very good jockey. I think he'll have some opportunities for riding for JP McManus. He will ride Epperton in the Champion Hurdle. I think there's going to, I mean, obviously he's stable jockey now for Ollie Murphy. There's going to be a few opportunities for him there, but also there'll be a few opportunities to ride in the green and gold silks at Cheltenham as well. So I've got no qualms with Aidan Coleman.
No, not at all. I've got no.
No, it's just you, Mark.
Yeah, listen, I've got no qualms at all, but at the end of the day, the three of us have gone into battle with one another. You've decided to go solo.
Bottle job. I'm a bottle job, mate. I swear.
Don't get me wrong. If I see a ride and I don't like it, I'll say, well, that's disappointing. Should have done better. But the only thing is, though, and it's the same with when I used to play football, when I used to play in goal, you're in that sort of that scientific, you're in that little mini cage of yours. You've got to make that decision. If you make that wrong decision, that's it. You've gone. People always remember that mistake. They don't remember the good saves or the good rides. They always remember the bad rides and the bad lettings of the goals that you've done. You know, you're under that you're under that little that little camera. It is a really it's a quick decision. Just like in goal, you've got to make that quick decision. It's the same thing in riding. It's that quick decision. Should I go for that gap or not? Should I go for it? Should I hold back? It's the same thing with goalkeeping. Should I go for that cross? No. It's just one of them things.
I'd rather see a jockey make a decision myself. I like jockeys that do. I like jockeys that don't, that can see a race pan out and it might not be going to plan, but you can see the ones that go, right, I'm going to do that, and then they go and do it. I like to see a jockey make a decision like that, personally.
Be adventurous.
But, absolutely. Fortune favours the bold, lads, as they say.
Oh, yes.
Well, anyway, Mr. Coleman, if you are watching, you're more than welcome to the Money Rider Christmas party. We'll make Mark talk to you.
Yeah, because Mark can't come. He's in tier 3.
I'll tell you what. You take me. Is it last spot, and then I'll just go and watch the celly or something.
Okay, all right, lads. Well, that's a couple of selections each. I've had a couple of Bruceys or a couple of mentions I was going to have mentioned taken away from me. Has anybody else got anything they want to mention? Any other ones they just sort of like?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
It doesn't have to be a Brucey bonus, just something you might have thought might run well.
I like Glyn. Glyn's going to run, isn't he, as well?
Sorry.
Glyn on Friday for the owners group, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At Doncaster, which was one I said that I mentioned in the ones to watch for the owners group. I think that's running against Clarendon Street as well in the owners series. I think that's just been declared this morning, Glyn.
Fair enough.
For me, that's one of those on Friday to watch that owners group one. Yeah.
One to watch for me is the 5 and 20 for Midland Park. Impressive 26 lengths win at Musselborough. It's got a it hasn't had a rating yet, but Racing Post put on a rating of 118, which is a little bit weird. But she's got to have another 2 runs to go and get racing mark.
Yeah,
there is talk of going back to Musselburgh in a listed race in the new year, or just waiting to the spring. So
okay, fair enough. All right, I'll give a quick little mention for Miles, because that was my first time ever having a runner at a track, so that was just like brilliant. She didn't win, as we all know, but yeah, no, she went all right. She travelled well for large parts, and just wasn't able to see out the trip really. And I mean, just didn't have enough at the end there. But pleased to hear Harry and Paul both say that she should go straight over the hurdles and not waste any more time in bumpers. So as a huge jump fan, that's obviously music to my ears, really. So, but anyway, so right, that's it then, folks. That's a couple of mentions for all of us. As I say, loads of brilliant racing again. Once again, as always, comment down below, get involved, join us on Twitter. Just search Money Ride, you'll find us. Yeah, get involved in the conversation, and we look forward to some cracking racing this weekend then, boys.
Yes, definitely.
Indeed.
Superb. I'll see you again for another video soon. See you later, boys.
See you later, lads.
See you later. Bye. Bye.